Hi, everybody. As promised, today we will be taking a look at my top 10 favorite artists and bands, plus two honorable mentions at the end. My first artist is an artist that I've loved for years, ever since I was about 3 years old, and that is Neil Young. I like everything Neil puts out. My next artist is an artist that is my next band, rather, is a band that has been closely associated with Neil for a number of years, and that is Sugarcane Jane. They are an Americana duo that is made up of Anthony Crawford and his wife Savannah Lee. Anthony got his start touring and performing with Neil and artists like Steve Winwood and Dwight Yoakam in the early in the late 80s and early 90s. Now, another artist that is closely associated with Neil that is on my list is Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Crosby, Stills and Nash and com- all their combinations and permutations. Now, I like everything that CSN and CSNY put out. And one more artist that is associated with Neil on this list is Richie Furay. Now, like Neil and CSN and CSNY, I like everything that Richie puts out. From his days with Poco, Buffalo Springfield, and a whole chunk of his solo recordings. Another artist that I like is a band that I was first introduced to in the late 90s called Hanson. Now, I was really probably one of the only um, guys that liked Hanson because they were geared for more of the teenage girl set. And as I've gotten older, I have become an even more bigger Hanson fan than I was. Another artist that I like is Willie Nelson. Now, like Neil, Richie, and CSN and CSNY, I like everything that Willie Nelson puts out. But my two favorite Willie Nelson records are Redheaded Stranger and Tougher Than Leather. And I will put links to those reviews in the cards if you want to check those out. Another artist that I like is Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton has taken a dip in popularity over the recent years because of his views on the COVID-19 pandemic and his political leanings. But my favorite Eric Clapton record is Backless, and I am going to put a link up in the cards to my review of Backless if you want to check that out. My next band that I like is Creedence Clearwater Revival. My favorite Creedence Clearwater Revival album is Cosmo's Factory, and one of my favorite Creedence Clearwater Revival songs is Lodi. Now, um, my next artist is the Beatles. I like everything that the Beatles have put out, even some of the songs that John has recorded with Yoko. My particular favorites are Bungalow Bill from the White Album, and O Yoko from one of John's solo records. So you could say that John Lennon is um, is an honorable mention. Now, my two honorable mention artists that I like are James Taylor and Waylon Jennings. As far as James Taylor goes, I have been a huge James Taylor fan ever since I was little and saw him on Sesame Street when he was singing to Oscar the Grouch. And my first James Taylor record that I bought was Sweet Baby James, and it has remained a favorite of mine ever since then. And I have seen James 3 times, and I have gotten to meet him twice. Now, my last artist that I like is my last honorable mention artist that I like is Waylon Jennings. And the first time that I remember listening to Waylon is when I was younger and would listen to my parents' Waylon and Willie record on the turntable. And so I hope you enjoyed this, and remember to check out those reviews that I mentioned, which will be up in the cards. Hi, everybody. One more artist that I forgot to mention was the Beach Boys. I have been a huge Beach Boys fan for years. My first exposure to the Beach Boys was through a friend of mine, and I have loved the Beach Boys ever since. My first Beach Boys record was their 1974 compilation record called Endless Summer.